that Lee Keegan, sadly, has stepped away from inter-county football. I mean, he's going to go down as one of the greats, isn't he?
Yeah, he'll go down as one of the greats of his generation. He'll probably go down as the greatest Mayo footballer of all time, I'd say, as well. Do you know what I loved about him most was just RF had a tweet up there this morning of some of his most inspirational points. It was like 6 or 7 points. 5 of them were definitely off the outside of the right foot. That kind of patented shot that he'd take on. But like definitely, I think it was in 6 of the 7 games he took on those scores and got them. They were, trailing. They were chasing the game. Jesus, if you ever needed somebody to stand up when things were going wrong. Like I can think of when they played Kildare this year and they were under pressure. He put over a lovely score off his left. He just always stood up, I felt, when they needed him the most. And like, wasn't he? He was a classic big game player as well. Like all those All-Ireland finals, he was absolutely outstanding in nearly all of them. He was the one that was, pushing back against the fading of the light, even in some of those games. I'm thinking of even the Tyrone final a couple of years ago as well, when things didn't go well for him. And he just defiant is the word I probably use to describe him. And it's such a, you can't buy that, and you can't breed that into people. Some people have it, some people don't. Some people maybe get a bit more cuteness and a bit more know-how throughout as their career goes on. But like, what a player, what an absolute player. And for a defender as well, like, he was a beautiful footballer. He had all of the dark arts, which we'll go into and all that, but he was a brilliant footballer as well and had all the skills as well.
Yeah, no, I thought it was excellent. Jack Nolte says here, Legend Lee is what a great. Like, if you go over his 12-year career, it's quite something. And largely he played in the half-backs, in the full-back line as well. He played 140 times between league and championship, scored 871. And in his 67 championship appearance, he scored 748, I saw Colin Keys writing, which is over a point a game, which is unbelievable. He probably changed how backs played in terms of that bombing forward. Now, I know others did it before him. I even think of Mark O'Shea, Tomas O'Shea, Meehan, there are plenty who did it. But by God, did anyone do it quite like he did?
Yeah, and even just like he did, he was able to bomb forward. And then in the split, and the opposite side of that, like, I don't know if he bombed forward at all any of the times he was marking Diarmuid Connolly. It's like his role was tie him down, do not let him pull the strings. And remember him asking him about that, I think it was at the end of the 2016 season. And I just loved hearing this because I'm a defender, but I just loved hearing what he said. He just was talking through his kind of mindset. He just said about the dark arts and marking Diarmuid Connolly. He just said, he's a quality player, but I don't see why I should let Diarmuid run around the pitch and do what he does best. If we did, sure, he'd be kicking 6 or 7 points a game, and I'd be looking like a dud out there. I'm a defender. I'm going to try and negate his influence as much as possible. Believe me, I love watching him play when he's in top form, but I'm just there to do a job for Mayo. And if I'm told to mark him or not mark him, that's just what I have to do. Of course, it probably did become a bit personal from other people, but from our point of view, we just want to do what we can that's best for our teams. He was the lucky one this year that slotted away the winning penalty, and I shook his hand afterwards. We have nothing but respect for each other, because at the end of the day, we're there to win games and there to win medals, and I'm sure he'd say the same thing if he was in this position. So, like, you just do what you have to do in a given day, and he would literally, as we saw from, a sneaky little throw of a GPS as well, he would do anything he could, and he'd no problem. And for later in that interview that he did in 2016 with me, said that it's win at all costs. You do whatever you had to do. Just go into a quote, actually, he was talking about the win at all costs attitude. He just said, as defenders, you just have to do what other people are not willing to do. I've no beef with that at all. I'm very comfortable in saying that because I'm a defender, and when it comes to winning games, I have to stop a forward. You saw Colin Boyle during the year. He took a black card once or twice. That had to be done. That's just the way it is. You win at all costs. And it's so disappointing that for a player that was driven like that, and as much as he lifted Mayo, that they still probably weren't able to get over the line. But like, a fantastic career. Did he finish up with 6 All-Stars, I think it was?
Something like that. He's only gone 33 as well since October. He definitely had another year or two in him if he wanted to. But maybe one of those things that, some players go out before there's calls for them to be moved on. Like, he's gone out while he's still highly in demand. And, you talk about that era where he had those great matchups with Diarmuid Connolly. He also had some great matchups with Kieran Kilkenny when Kilkenny was playing that sort of, I think the term Colin Nally, the former Meath coach, uses, that sort of swinger player who moves the ball around from one edge of the pitch to the other. And sure, Connolly had brilliant performances on him. Remember against Michael Quinlivan, the All-Ireland semi-final. Didn't he mark Sean Kavanagh that same year as well?
Yeah.
He just had so many good performances. And also around that era, there was the whole trend online, things that Lee did, more or less, that he was at fault for anything. And just to go through some of them here. So I met up with Maurice Deegan during the week to get his yellow card, hashtag things Lee did. Killed Roman Escobar with a 45, hashtag things Lee did. Headbutted his marker straight into the fist, hashtag, oh Jesus, this one, Lee Keegan took my virginity and never gave it back, hashtag things Lee did. So like some of them are very, very funny. Junior Zed Hurler says, Lee, a great player and a right pain in the arse from a Dublin perspective. Grodo go crack on, adds, I'd hoped he wouldn't be, but he would be the greatest ever player never to win an All-Ireland, and he always played at his best in every final. There's no higher compliment than that you're always playing the best, even when your team isn't. ML89, Mayo's greatest. Not all Mayo lads that can say that they won their individual matchups in every All-Ireland he played in, outscoring Diarmuid Connolly over 3 All-Ireland finals. It was fair going, it really was.
Yeah, just on the maybe had another year, maybe he did, but I remember a couple of years ago, Shane, when he was in kind of fullback / cornerback, where Con gave him an awful lot of trouble in that All-Ireland final. Remember, he slipped him for 2 goals. There was probably a lot of people.
They had huge injuries though that year. Like there was 8 or 9 Mayo, and you know they weren't as competitive as they normally were.
No, true enough. But people were looking at Keegan and saying that like he did probably looked maybe a bit more than when he would be out wing back. He was just caught a bit flat-footed a couple of times. People were questioning whether he'd be able to, hit the heights that he had. He was Footballer of the Year in 2016. But like to me, like probably his best ever season was probably 2021. Realistically, it was just an unbelievable season. Unbelievable.